The grainy, low-resolution footage from 18 years ago filled the massive screen. The audio was slightly muffled, but the voices were unmistakable. Dr. Wilbert, I appreciate you squeezing me in, a younger Evelyn Ward said, slipping a thick manila envelope across his desk. I have a gala next week, and I absolutely cannot be seen with this hideous lipoma on my scalp. Always a pleasure to assist the board, Dr. Ward, a younger Rodney replied, his hand swiftly making the envelope disappear into his top drawer. I've bumped the 10 a.m. cranial hemorrhage to the afternoon schedule. We'll get you prepped immediately. The video cut off. The silence in the conference room was absolute. The only sound was the whir of the projector's cooling fan. I turned back to face the 5 camera lenses. The patient who was bumped to the afternoon schedule was my mother, I said, my voice thick with the grief I had carried for nearly 2 decades. She didn't make it to the afternoon. She died in the hallway because Dr. Wilbert prioritized a cosmetic procedure for a bribe. The live chat on the monitor beside me had gone completely still for a long, agonizing moment. Then, it erupted. It wasn't venom directed at me anymore. It was absolute, unadulterated shock and fury. Is that real? He let someone die for a pimple? Oh my god. That's Rodney Wilbert. And that's Evelyn Ward. This isn't just corruption. This is murder. For 18 years, I continued staring directly into the camera. I tried to submit this evidence to the state licensing board, the hospital administration, and the ethics committee. Every single time, my complaints were buried by Dr. Evelyn Ward, who used her position to protect him. So, when Dr. Wilbert's daughter sat in front of me for admission to St. Jude's, I didn't reject her out of spite. I rejected her because I know exactly what kind of medicine the Wilbert family practices. I paused, picking up a thick stack of printed documents from the table. But I didn't just reject her because of her father. I rejected her because she is a fraud. I held up the first document to the cameras. It was a dense, highly technical surgical paper. Daisy Wilbert claims to have authored 5 groundbreaking medical papers at 18 years old, I said. However, these papers rely on highly complex, post-operative clinical data that an 18-year-old high school student simply does not have legal or physical access to. I flipped the page, displaying a side-by-side comparison. I ran all 5 of her papers through a proprietary plagiarism software utilized by the Federal Medical Database. 3 of these papers contained significant, uncredited passages lifted directly from obscure dissertations submitted by international graduate students over the past decade. The remaining 2 papers, I continued, holding up the final document, were entirely ghostwritten. I have the financial record showing massive wire transfers from Rodney Wilbert's private accounts to a known academic ghostwriting firm in Eastern Europe, dated exactly 3 weeks before each paper was published. The chat was moving so fast the text was a blur. She didn't write the papers, her dad bought them? This is insane. The chief of medicine is a fraud and a killer. Wait, so President Mercer fired Lena Bishop for rejecting a plagiarizing fraud? President Mercer of St. Jude's, I said, my voice hardening, fired me because he values the financial and political connections of the Wilbert family more than the integrity of our medical program. He forced Daisy's admission, violating the very charter of the university. I am not here today to save my job, I concluded, looking into the lenses. I am here because a doctor's hands hold the fragile line between life and death. If we allow corruption, bribery, and fraud to dictate who wears the white coat, we are failing every patient who walks through hospital doors. I stood up. The full dossier of evidence, including the video, the financial records, and the plagiarism reports, has just been emailed to the FBI, the state medical board, and every major news outlet in the country. Thank you. I walked out of the conference room, ignoring the shouted questions from the journalists behind the cameras. My phone was vibrating so violently in my pocket it felt like it was overheating. I didn't answer it. I walked out of the hotel,